continue our discussion, I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you what they were showing these kids at the schools. All right, but I don't think I should.
No, we need to see it. You got grandkids.
All right.
And great grands.
Okay. All right. I'll show it quick. We'll do it quick. So now remember, the news blocked out the book. All right.
Right.
But now the news is blocking it out. They know how inappropriate it is.
Exactly.
Right. But this is what our children are being exposed to. Did it quit?
Oh.
Did you see that?
Are they crazy?
Insane. You want another quick flash? All right.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, man.
This is what they were exposing our children to. Yes. And that's why when the Muslims and Christians came together and fought against it, you should saw how powerful it was. I should have included that video so that you can see it. But this is what it is. We have to come together as believers to push back against the system because of the moral decay that's going on in our society. But here was another book with a boy having an inappropriate conversation with his sister. So the stuff that they are pushing is horrible. It's horrible. It's satanic. Okay? And we don't know. We send our kids to these people, and they're indoctrinated. That's why it's so important for us to have our own schools.
Yes.
Because they are teaching and instilling their values into our children. All right? Now, this was a song that had come out. Any of y'all heard it was about a San Francisco gay choir?
No.
Y'all right here? Okay. Don't focus on the music. Focus on the lyrics. Okay? We have a problem with the sound again. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to hook up my little small speakers because you need to hear this.
Well, I was reading that we're coming for your children. That's disgusting.
Close the door, please.
sinful? You think we're sinful? start of the song, all right? You think we're simple.
You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked.
So they're saying it's an agenda.
Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco. Warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
But you hear this. They're telling you what the agenda is. One of the main reasons why they're doing this is because the elite see that they feel that there's too many people on the earth. So what do? They create this genocide because it's a form of genocide. If I turn you against your natural mate, you don't what?
Procreate.
You don't procreate or you don't reproduce. So this is why they're pushing it so hard on society. And that's why you see so many black television shows and movies that include this. Okay? Any thoughts? Because they're telling you what the agenda is. And they say it's an agenda. They're telling you right to your face. Now, remember we talked earlier, we said that, oh yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. But I posed the question, what if the village is sick? Okay? But now watch this. This is a news story. This happened, I guess, about 13 days ago.
In surveillance video sent to us by a neighbor at 2:07 p.m. Saturday afternoon, you see two small boys on bikes talking with someone. Neighbors tell us it's the homeowner, and she has a complicated relationship with those who live near her.
Lately, it's been getting worse. I guess as her mental illness gets worse, her brain gets worse, so she starts doing crazier things. Just this morning, she was stealing things from her yard guy's truck and was vandalizing their vehicle.
That complicated relationship exploded today. In that home video, we see the two boys leaving after a neighbor shoos them away. But just 10 minutes later, they're back.
Now, the boys are 12 and 7. 12 and 7.
Younger one wearing oversized blue gloves, the older boy black gloves. The older boy can be seen pulling something out of his pants, charging the woman inside her garage, and fleeing heartbeats later as she falls to the ground. They leap back on their bikes and roll away.
Never did any of us, everything.
Stabbed the woman. But it was premeditated. They went home and got gloves and came back and stabbed that woman.
That it was going to be kids from the neighborhood that come in and attack her.
Neighbors say because of the woman's fragile mental state, her family checks on her regularly. Law enforcement say shortly after the stabbing, her brother came by and found her. She was life-flighted to a hospital and went into surgery in critical condition.
Her brother came and checked by just to check up on her. He checks on her daily. At that point, he just came at the right time. He opened the door and saw that she was stabbed.
Just blocks away, only ABC 13 was there as the sheriff's department investigated outside a second home. At one point, a deputy walks a small boy from the patrol car into the house. Deputies could not say if this is where the boys live. They did say they are from the same neighborhood.
Now the concern is, okay, so if these kids have the ability to do that, do we need to start watching the kids around here? My mom is about to live by herself, so that's also the concern now too. So
I'm Liliana Pearson, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Were those little African-American boys?
Yes. Yes. And the thing is that the more and more the society moves away from God's guidance, the sicker the crimes are going to become, and committed by children at earlier ages. Right? But now let me show you this. Now, the kids are playing this game. The game is called Grand Theft Auto. All right? Whole bunch of stuff in this. And you have to remember, it's programmed. And children do what they see. Adults also do what they see. But children, especially at a young age, they're like sponges. And they're absorbing this stuff. All right? But now watch. Parents go out and pay $60, $70 for this game.
In surveillance video sent to us by a neighbor at 2:07 p.m. Saturday afternoon, you see two small boys.
Hit the wrong one. So it's like a free roaming game, okay? So you're walking down the street, you can interact with different people, right? But now look.
Hi there.
You see this? And just randomly. Okay? This is what our children are consuming. You are what you eat. Or you are what you consume. Right? Here's another one. So you're wondering why these children, it's so easy for them to go and stab somebody. Look at the stuff they consume.
What a loser.
Look at this.
It's nice to not be at work for once. Whatever.
Oh,
But this is what our children are consuming. I remember one parent said to me that her child was playing this game called Cyberpunk. And you can create transgender people and everything in this game. And it's sex, violence, drug scene. He was in 2nd grade. And we were on Zoom. And he came up, he was excited to show me his games. He said, look, these are the games I have. And I saw that game among them. I was like, wait a minute. So I tried to pull his mom's coattails. I said, look, that game is horrible. She said, it's okay. You don't play it every day. Oh. Okay.
Once is too much.
Once is too much, right? Horrible. Now, how many of you know this guy, Aaron Russo? All right, Aaron Russo. I'm gonna tell you a little bit story of Aaron Russo. Aaron Russo was an American entertainment businessman, film producer, and director in Hollywood, and a political activist. One day, an attorney friend of his said, "Hey, you want to meet one of the Rockefellers?"
Oh, I remember.
Okay, one of the elite families. Guy from one. He said, "Sure, I'll meet him." Go ahead, good brother.
I think I knew that for myself. He met one of the Rockefellers. The Rockefeller told him what he was going to do about blow up a whole bunch of people, drill pipeline. They're going to have oil come over here. He thought it was horrible, right? The Rockefeller told him, said, go home, be with your family and other kids. You don't have anything to do.
Okay, and what you said is a lot from their conversation. But now this particular conversation,
I think that's what it is.
but now this one isn't. All right. So he met him. They established a friendship. They would go out to dinner, and then this guy started revealing different things to him. All right. Now, this is Nicholas Rockefeller. That's Aaron. This is Aaron Russo here, and then that's Nicholas Rockefeller. All right. So now, I ask you all this question: what was the women's liberation movement about? Anybody know what the women's liberation movement was about? Go ahead.
Supposedly giving women the right to do whatever they needed to do, work or outside the home and do, numerous things.
Absolutely, right? So that's what Aaron said. He said, hey, it's about giving women the right to vote and all that. And he said, Aaron, you're a fool. He said, well, I'm a fool. I'm going to let you hear his conversation. All right?
Well, one of the things they told me was that, he brought me with at the house one night, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote. And he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib.
They funded women's lib. And if you remember, the woman back there at that time was a woman named Gloria Steinem. Okay? And on a television show, they were talking about her on one of the television shows, and they talked about how great a woman she was and put her on par with Harriet Tubman. All right? And then check it out.
And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And they were, one reason was...
Two reasons.
We couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. Which breaks up their family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for women's lib, which I put up to that point was a noble thing. When I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, and the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble venture.
Aaron, did you know that Gloria Steinem, in one of her own books, now admits the CIA funded Miss Magazine?
No, I had no idea about that. No, I never heard that.
Yeah, we're going to...
CIA funded Miss Magazine?
Funded Miss Magazine with the stated goal of taxing women and breaking up the family.
No kidding. I never heard that. Well, Nick told me. I mean, I know it, but not because I know the CIA was involved in it.
Well, Gloria Steinem was proud of it. Oh, the CIA wanted to help me help women.
No.
Interesting. Two goals. One, because they were only taxing half of the population. So when they get the women out there, it's more money they get with the taxes. But then the main goal was to destroy the family. Because if I take the man's already out working, I take the woman out too, who's there to teach the children? TV. School. That's why they want your children at an early age. That's why they have all these early education programs, because they know it's critical to get your child at an early age so that they can not teach them, but indoctrinate them. So this is what we said in print. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, and we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television. The Rockefeller Foundation, he says. And you want to know why? So there were two primary reasons, and the one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib, and the second reason was now we get the kids to school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think so it breaks up the family. The kids start to look at the state as the family. school as the officials, as their family, not the parents teaching. So it's all a plan.
Yeah.
Indoctrinate. Indoctrinate means to instruct in a doctrine, principle, ideology, etc., especially to imbue with a specific partisan or biased belief or point of view, to teach or inculcate, to imbue with learning. This is the dictum of Ignatius Loyola, founder of the Jesuit order. He said, give me a child until he is 7, and I will give you the man. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will give you the man. What do you think that's described? Indoctrination. Because they know when children are at an early age, they absorb information like sponges. Okay? And then that way, they can put their ideas and their belief systems in our children. And what did Malcolm say? When you put the education of your children in the hands of your enemy, your children will become your enemy. So now your kids are fighting with you because they have what they learned from the system going against your values, your family values, your teaching of Islam, your teaching of Christianity or Judaism, whatever. Okay? So this is the game. And like I said, our children spend more time with, most of our children spend more time with social media, television, YouTube, all of that stuff than they do with their parents. So that is becoming the educator of our children. John F. Kennedy, this is a quote from John F. Kennedy. He said, a child miseducated is a child lost. And I think we can all agree with that. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. They know. That's why they have all these early education programs so they can get your child and indoctrinate them. Okay? To their system, to their beliefs.
Rashid, could you speak a little bit about the fact that people can tell how many prisons they need to build based on third grade education?
Absolutely.
Results.
And that's something that we definitely know. Because if a child can't read and grow up not being able to read, then it opens up the door to criminal activity. And they know this. And the other thing about, and I'm glad you brought up the prison system, there was a rapper who talked about how there was a guy, he was a high music exec, and he said that they went to a meeting and that they decided to invest in private prisons. So they wanted rappers to rap about things that would get you locked up. They didn't want the conscious rapper anymore. The KRS-Ones, and, these conscious type people, the low keys from England. They don't want that. They want people like Lil Wayne and all of them that promote sex, drugs, and violence in order to fill their prisons. Go ahead.
And what's worse is
then we'll go to you, brother. Oh no, you first, sister. Then we'll.
And what's worse is that they've even put, because I'm in the finance district, and they even opened up being able to invest in private prisons to the public. They made the idea, so now you can even go on, get a ticket for a company that owns a private prison, and you can become part owner of the prison.
Wow. Go ahead, good brother.
It's a DVD called Zach Quest. It speaks exactly what you're speaking on now.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting because
Exactly what you're speaking on.
I have so much to show you. But the thing is that it's a game. This is Shaitan's system. Yeah. This is Shaitan's system, and we have to realize that. There's a verse in the Bible that says, envy not the oppressor and follow none of his ways. And what do? We follow the ways of the oppressor. Okay? Now, you have to be very careful with your child in the school. Okay? This was geared at a 2nd grade class. How old are your children?
My daughter's 8, but I'm just gonna say they even started in kindergarten.
Okay. So I don't know if you want her to turn her chair for this little part.
You show, okay, yeah, I'll walk out. Come on.
And this is aimed at 2nd grade children. Okay? But now watch. You see this? 2nd grade children. So they want them to label the parts. Okay? Now, this is the game. They send the letter out, and if you look at the bullets, they said this program was coming, and these were the things that they would be discussing: mental and emotional health, alcohol and other drugs, tobacco and vaping, personal health and wellness, healthy behaviors, violence prevention, healthy relationships, growth and development, personal safety, healthy eating, and physical activity. This was the bullet points. Do you see anything up there about sex? No. Where you see sex at is when it comes down close to where the parent would sign. It says parents, guardians have the option to exclude their child from any portion of the healthy behaviors / sexuality education instruction. Now they slipped it in there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because they ain't paying attention now, they just sign.
Right. So you have to pay attention. And the thing is that if, what is this going to expose our children to? Okay? Now they're going to start being curious and investigating and touching each other. You see what I'm saying? Horrible.
Wow.
Now this was the website of the this group, right? And then I did some research on it and found out they were kicked out of other school districts. Okay? Now, this is from their website, but you see the young girl with hijab on. So they're targeting Islam, targeting Muslims, wanting to indoctrinate Muslim children, and make them think that this is an okay lifestyle. Okay? And I'll tell you this, it is in our schools. Girls with hijab on, messing with each other. Boys messing with each other. Because we have allowed our enemy, when Malcolm was saying that, we see it as our enemy is the system. It's not white people, no. Allah tells you He creates us in all different hues.
Right.
Okay? And that He judges us by our righteousness, not by our color. Right? But it's the system that is our enemy. Now, who are these famous individuals? You got Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza, Opie Tometi, and Janaya Khan. Anybody know who these people are? You said never heard of them?
Never heard of them.
Okay, now watch. These are the founders of Black Lives Matter. Okay? Patrice Cullors, Janaya Khan, Alicia Garza, Opie Tometi. They were all homosexuals, all queer. Okay? A term used, queer is a term used to refer to a person who is gay. A person whose sexual orientation or gender identity falls outside the heterosexual mainstream or the gender binary, right? Trojan horse. The thing is that if that's what people choose, that's what they choose. But don't push it on but don't push it on our children. Push it on others. All right? But a Trojan horse, what is a Trojan horse? What is meant by the phrase a Trojan horse The Trojan horse is a story from the Trojan War about a subterfuge that the Greeks used to enter the independent city of Troy and win the war. Metaphorically, a Trojan horse has come to mean any trick or stratagem that causes a target to invite a foe into a securely protected bastion or place. A person or thing intended secretly to undermine or bring about the downfall of an enemy or an opponent. A wolf in sheep's clothing. What is meant by a wolf in sheep's clothing? A wolf in sheep's clothing is an idiom of biblical origin used to describe those playing a role contrary to their real character, with whom contact is dangerous, particularly false teachers. Someone or something that seems to be good, but is actually not good at all. Black Lives Matter. Seems good, right? The nuclear family. This is the old definition of the nuclear family. A family unit consisting of a mother and a father and their progeny. Nuclear family definition, new modern day, a social unit composed of two parents and one or more children. So you see how they play with words, okay? Now, they sent out a curriculum to the schools. Black Lives Matter School Starter Kit. The lessons that educators taught during the week of action corresponded to the 13 guiding principles of Black Lives Matter. Monday, restorative justice, empathy, and loving engagement. Tuesday, diversity and globalism. Wednesday, trans-affirming, queer-affirming, and collective value. This was the curriculum they sent to the schools. Thursday, integration of black families and black villages. Friday, black women and unapologetically black. Right? Now, very interesting. Why did Black Lives Matter start? Behind the deaths of George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, correct? Right. But the stuff is not focused on the men. It's not focused on the boys. It's focused on homosexuality and women. Okay? Trojan horse, wolf in sheep's clothing. It applies. Black Lives Matter guiding principles. Transgender affirming is the commitment to continue to make space for our trans brothers and sisters by encouraging leadership and recognizing trans antagonistic violence. Queer affirming is working towards a queer affirming network where the heteronormative thinking no longer exists. They're telling you they're attacking us. They want to see the heteronormative thinking no longer existing. Collective value means that all black lives, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status, or location matter. Guiding principles continue. Black families creates a space that is family friendly and free from patriarchal practices. Black women, we build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. Black villages is a disruption of the Western nuclear family dynamics and a return to the collective village that takes care of each other. Black women is the building women-centered spaces free from sexism, misogyny, and male-centeredness. So their whole thing was about women and homosexuality. They don't care about the men. They don't care about Trayvon Martin and George Floyd. So it was a Trojan horse. It was a wolf in sheep's clothing. They said they wanted to get rid of patriarchy, right? That's all we can see. All right, so adjective, of or relating to a patriarch, the male head of a family, tribe, community, church, order, etc. Characteristic of an entity, family, church, etc., controlled by men. And what did they say? Free from patriarchal practices. Okay? And they also told you how to talk to children about Black Lives Matter guiding principles. Transgender affirming is a commitment to continue to make space for trans siblings by encouraging leadership and recognizing trans and antagonistic violence while doing the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege. What is cisgender?
Women, natural born men.
Absolutely. So to dismantle the normal relationships, okay? Cisgender, also cisgendered, noting or relating to a person whose gender identity corresponds with that person's biological sex assigned at birth. So they want to get rid of that type of thinking. So then stuff started coming out. Black Lives Matter, co-founded by 1.4 million home in an area with just 1.6 black population. Okay, so stuff, they started getting exposed. They were misusing the funds. You don't hear much about them anymore. Okay, so it was a game. It was a Trojan horse. It was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, this was something that was leaked by Disney. Okay, did anybody ever see this? Okay, this is from Disney executives. All right, I want you to hear this. All right.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. One of our execs stood up and said, you know, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, oh, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads and narratives in which gay characters just get to be characters and not have to be about gay stories. And so that's been very eye-opening for me. And I can tell you, it's something that I feel perhaps had this moment not happened, I as a leader and me as my colleagues would not have focused on. And going forward, I certainly will be more so. I know that we will be, and I hope this is a moment where, the 50% of the tears, sorry, are coming. We just don't allow each other to go backwards.
On my little pocket of, Proud Family Disney TVA, the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there had been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda, and I don't have to be afraid.
Not her, not all secret agenda. So they're letting you know that this is their agenda. To use the television program to normalize homosexuality to our children.
Brave to let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background start. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to and you see anything queer in the show. I'm proud though. But I just was no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
I have had the privilege of.
So they are purposely putting this stuff in these shows by design. And you see what happened now that Nickelodeon just got exposed. They have a documentary called, I forgot the name of it now. But it's a 4-part special on Nickelodeon. And they're exposing Nickelodeon, all the stuff that was going on. And how they were quiet on the set. Thank you, sister.
Watch it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I couldn't watch it.
Horrible. But this is all on purpose. It's all the program. The Quran, chapter 4, the women. This is Surah An-Nisa, verses 118 to 120. Allah did curse him, but he said, I will take of thy servants a portion marked off. And this is Shaitan speaking. Alright? He says, I will mislead them and I will create in them false desires. I will mislead them and I will create in them false desires. Homosexuality is a false desire. I will order them to split the ears of cattle and face the fair nature created by Allah. Some translators use change or tamper with. To face, change, or tamper with the fair nature created by Allah. And this is what they're doing. They're going against the natural way. This verse is so powerful because you see it in our foods. You see it in the air where they're spraying that stuff in the air. You ever see the planes? Chemtrails. They fly, leave a thin line, and then it starts opening up and starts looking like a cloud. They can also make it rain. Sometimes I say that to people, they go, this brother crazy, he threw it on. I can show you a video where they make it rain. So they're trying to control weather.
You gotta stop that.
Okay. Oh, they're doing it. They call it cloud seeding. They were doing it in Dubai.
Until Allah has had enough of them.
Right. But remember, Allah said he's going to give them rope. Just to see how far they're going to go. And remember, one brother, a brother named Nassim, he said, well, just as people earn heaven or paradise, they got to earn hell. Okay. So the verse continues, whoever forsaking Allah takes Shaitan for a friend, hath of a surety suffered the loss that is manifest. Shaitan makes them promises and creates in them false desires. But Shaitan's promises are nothing but deception.
That's right.
And this is why it's so important for us to get into this Quran. Okay? Because Allah has given us the solutions in the Quran. You know?
For everything.
False. Not true. Correct. Erroneous. Uttering or declaring what is untrue. Not faithful or loyal. Treacherous. Tending to deceive or mislead. Deceptive. Not genuine. Counterfeit. Not genuine desires. Counterfeit desires. Because the thing is, if I turn you against your natural mate, you do not reproduce. It's not natural. If I had a VCR up here right now and I had my cords, and I would put if I had the red, the white, the yellow, and I mix them up in the wrong spots, I get nothing. Because that's not the way it was designed. If I put them in the right way, I get a clear picture and sound. Right? So now we can kind of see that these things are not of our Creator. Now, I find this very interesting.
Is that Bill Nye?
Huh? No, no. This is another guy. His name is E. Michael Jones. Very, very good speaker. He's a Catholic guy. But he's fearless. He'll speak on whatever he feels he needs to speak on. Okay? But now, this is the pride flag. What was Shaitan? Iblis was first called, Iblis was first Iblis. And then when he rebelled and rejected, he was what? He became Shaitan, right? What was the reason why he was became the rejected one? Because of his what? Because of arrogance and disobedience and his what? Something else. I'm looking for a word with a P.
Pride.
Pride. Very good. What are we talking about now? The pride flags. Right? Watch this.
My wife and I were talking recently about people who have rainbow flags. Why? Name any other vice that you has a flag dedicated to it, you know?
Name any other vice that has a flag dedicated to it.
A flag that celebrates gambling away your paycheck, or a flag that celebrates drunkenness, or a flag that...
Drunken driving. How about an automobile with a drunken behind the wheel? How about that for a flag?
Yeah. The thing that's striking about this is that we call them pride flags. Pride goes before destruction. And we are setting ourselves up for a great, great calamity.
Pride goes before destruction. Especially, look at how it worked out for Shaitan. Right?
Because pride tells God that he doesn't know how to make a world.
Small clip, but powerful, powerful clip. Okay? Sword of Buckler, chapter 2, verse 34. And when we said unto the angels, prostrate yourselves before Adam, they fell prostrate, and all say he demurred through pride, and so became a demon. Okay? And as we talked yesterday, that was also your first case of racism. Yeah. Because what did he say? I'm not bowing to him. I'm better than him. I'm made of smokeless flames made of earth or dirt or mud. Okay? So he's using the same thing that got him banished on us to mislead us. And not only mislead us, but also to sever the relationship between us and Allah. It's much deeper than just misguiding us. It's severing the relationship, severing the ties with us and our Lord. Pride definition. Pride, exaggerated self-esteem or conceit. A vice, an immoral, evil habit or practice, immoral conduct, depraved or degrading behavior. An immoral, wicked, or evil habit, action, or trait. Habitual or frequent indulgence in pernicious, immoral, or degrading practices. That's what a vice is. Let's look at some of the vices of our day. We have drugs, computers, internet, alcohol, video games, social media, modern day, what I call modern day paganism, when people worship celebrities, because that's all celebrities are, living, breathing idols, right? Back in the day, in the time of the prophets, they would make them out of stone and wood, and they would pray to them. Now, they do the same thing, but just with people. Okay? People faint over Michael Jackson. People faint over Beyonce, right? Where they don't show that much enthusiasm to Allah, who gives them everything. Okay? Because they take that for granted. Music, television, gambling, pornography, cell phones, racism. These are the vices of our day. All right? I mean, television it's all on how it's used, too, especially the internet, because you can use it for positive things. You can use television for positive things, okay? You can use music for positive things. And the reason why, you weren't in here when I showed the piece about with the Satanists, but they were saying they use music because this is what the children are into. And we can use this to misguide them. He said that they were conducting guerrilla warfare on the human mind. It's deep what he was saying, right? Surah 5, verse 90. O ye who believe, intoxicants and gambling, dedication of stones and divination by arrows are an abomination of Shaitan's handiwork. Eschew such abomination that you may prosper. So Allah is telling us to stay away from these things. Because when you're high or something, you can do something that would change your life forever. And this is what our youth need to know. Okay? Eschew. To abstain or keep away from. shun, avoid. So Allah is telling us to stay away from these things, to keep clear and abstain from something disliked or injurious, etc. Shun, avoid. In Quran chapter 5, Ma'idah, verse 91. Shaitan's plan is but to excite enmity and hatred between you with intoxicants, gambling, and hinder you from the remembrance of Allah and from prayer. Will ye not then abstain? So Allah is giving us prescription after prescription, advice after advice. And some of us choose to follow it, some of us choose not to follow it. But He's telling us what's going to give us success in this life. The big question, this wicked system is powered by our vices. Are we willing to give them up? Are we willing to give up the very things that are destroying our families and communities and keeping us from a state of peace or from a state of Islam? Okay. This is a quote from Frederick Douglass from My Bondage, My Freedom. When a slave is drunk, the slaveholder has no fear that he will plan an insurrection. No fear that he will escape to the north. It is the sober thinking slave who is dangerous and needs the vigilance of his master to keep him a slave. Okay? Very heavy. All right? Because they have to keep us in this dumbed down, intoxicated state so that they can run over us. Okay? Now, how many people remember this movie? Golden Child. I loved the Golden Child when I was younger. Golden Child with Eddie Murphy.
Yep.
But the movie was very deep. All right? Can anybody give us a synopsis of it? What it was about? Y'all remember it?
He had to basically go and rescue this little Asian boy that was supposedly the golden child, this brilliant, evolved child, because they had caged him and done some things so that he would not be able to even break himself out.
Right. You said what? He had the gift of the touch. He was supposed to be like a messianic figure.
Yes.
All right? He was supposed to solve the world's problems. All right? But now, watch this. Because now we're going to go back to see why Margaret Sanger did what she did. All right? Let's check this out. So this is a scene from it. All right. So the group that was holding him captive were Satanists. Okay, they were occultists, Satanists. So you can see like occult symbols on the floor and stuff. And I'm gonna speed it up some. So in this scene, they were basically trying to get him to eat something. Eat something to, it was like a bowl of oatmeal with blood in it, okay? And the reason why they were doing that, because they felt that it would defile him and take him out of a state of purity. What was also interesting when they showed this character here, the one you just said to, they had him put out a prayer rug and get down. Muslim praise. It was interesting, right?
Get this and the rest of your playthings out of here.
So he had flipped the bowl. It had the blood, right? But now, they were trying to defile this child, this golden child, because like I said, they felt as if they could get him to consume his blood, it would defile him, take him out of the state of purity. So, defile, it means to make unclean or impure, to corrupt the purity, perfection of the base, to violate the chastity or virginity of, to deflower, to make physically unclean, especially with something unpleasant or contaminated, to violate the sanctity of, desecrate, sully, dishonor. Now remember, this came from a book. This guy named James Allen, he wrote a book called As a Man Thinketh. Out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. Out of a defiled mind proceeds a defiled life and a corrupt body. So the message I got from the golden child is that they are trying to defile our children. All right? They're trying to corrupt their minds and their spirits. If you see this is a student with a hoodie on. And you see the hoodie says what? Sinner. This is a Muslim student. Okay? This was a Muslim student. A sinner. A person who transgresses against divine law by committing an immoral act or acts. One that has voluntarily violated the divine law. A moral agent who has voluntarily disobeyed any divine precept or neglected any known duty. An evildoer, an immoralist, a malefactor, a wrongdoer, a reprobate, a depraved, unprincipled, or wicked person. This is what he's walking around on the back of his clothing. All right? Now, anybody know of a special event that happened in media in 1971? All right? I'm going to show you the trailer to a documentary that took place, that tells of an event that took place in 1971.
I knew that we would find things in that office that were not only immoral, but probably illegal.
All right, so it says before the Pentagon Papers and WikiLeaks, before Edward Snowden's NSA revelations, there was Media, Pennsylvania.
I knew that we would find things in that office that were not only immoral, but probably illegal.
What
we thought of at the time as the war machine. We wanted to do as much damage to it as we could before we got caught.
We knew that if we got caught, we were going to probably face very serious prison time.
It was very empowering to know that ordinary people could actually take action.
So they were never caught.
Philadelphia was full of young families just like ourselves who were very active politically.
I was ready to make a transition from nonviolent protest to nonviolent disruption.
They feared there were FBI informers in their midst.
We heard someone trying to break into one of the apartments in the building. Somebody yelled back, FBI.
Everywhere you went, there was somebody taking your picture. Even the presidents of the United States were afraid of the FBI.
If the FBI was suppressing dissent, it was as important to expose that as it was to end the war.
So many things were so wrong. There was no decision to be made. You have to do something.
Break into an FBI office, remove files
basically went into this FBI office, stole these documents, and amongst the documents was this document called COINTELPRO. Anybody ever heard of it? Okay. COINTELPRO. Now, if you notice, the people in the video that did this were Caucasian, right? It says, and among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and your colors. Verily in that are signs for those who know. O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that ye may know each other, not that ye may despise each other. Verily the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is he who is the most righteous among you, and Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. So, it says not to despise each other. So he created us in different hues, not for us to despise each other. And despise means to regard with contempt, distaste, disgust, or disdain, scorn, or loathe, to look down on with contempt, to scorn. So Allah judges us by our deeds of righteousness, not color, right? Now, this is COINTELPRO. The goals of COINTELPRO was to prevent the rise of a Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspired to this position. So they had infiltrated the black groups of that time, and they were watching them. They said, and this is an FBI document, and this is what it says. It said, Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. He was too old. King could be a very real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines, nonviolence, and embrace black nationalism. This is why they push King on us so much, okay? Because he was, following their guidelines. But as soon as he broke away, what did they do? They killed him. They killed Malcolm X right away, right? Carmichael has the necessary charisma to be a real threat in this way. So the fourth group thing was prevent militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to three separate segments of the community. The goal of discrediting black nationalists must be handled tactically in three ways. You must discredit those groups and individuals. Two, first, the responsible Negro community. Second, they must be discredited to the white community, both the responsible community and to the liberals who have vestiges of sympathy for militant black nationalists, simply because they are Negroes. Third, these groups must be discredited in the eyes of Negro radicals, the followers of the movement. This last area requires entirely different tactics from the first two. Publicity about violent tendencies and radical statements merely enhances black nationalism. To the last group, it adds respectability in a different way. So they had infiltrated these groups and was causing dissension. So that's what they do. Go ahead, good brother. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got email or something?
I'll never use my email. You have to have a copy. Make a copy.
Oh no, I don't have a physical copy. I can send it to you, or if you have your phone, you take a picture of it. But I don't have a paper copy with me. Yeah.
Change is good sometimes. When you get through, I'll give you my email.
Okay, I'm doing that. So they even made a movie about it. All right, Judas and the Black Messiah.
I got that.
Right. So now, don't believe anything that I'm saying. Don't believe me. Look it up for yourself. Right? But here we go, watch. This is the trailer.
I want to share something with you. Like the masses, I was in awe when I first laid eyes on all the things you are. I heard that speech. I knew we'd make noise. I just thought it'd be in the streets.
The Black Panthers are the single greatest threat to our national security. Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a black messiah.
Right in the trailer. Right in the trailer. So the things that we see happening in the black community is for a reason. They fear something from our children. That's why they try to defile them. Okay.
So if he was a plant, why'd they kill him?
You said what?
If he was a plant, why'd they kill him?
Who was a plant?
Black Panther.
No, it was another guy that was in there that was a plant. You talking in the movie?
We did, okay. So the plant, our people, well, our age group, the plant means like.
Oh no. What I'm saying is, no, they would put people in organizations that were from their organization, and then they would go in and they would cause disruptions and stuff within the.
Right. So the other guy was the mole. He worked at the FBI, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is interesting because now what we're seeing is the story of Musa all over again. All right. What did Pharaoh do when he got word that a savior was coming? He started murdering the children, the boys. Right. Here's the Bible. Exodus chapter 1 verses 8 to 16. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. All right, didn't know prophet Yusuf. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Margaret sang it, right? Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Okay. Therefore they did send over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. All right. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. So they were trying to eliminate the male. Okay? The reason Pharaoh ordered the newborn males to be killed. Pharaoh ordered them to be killed because he thought there was too many Israelites. After his first attempt to try and persuade the Israelites to not have children by giving them a hard and crucial slave life, Pharaoh was scared they would grow into a too large of a number and try to fight against the Egyptians. Pharaoh claimed that the high Israelite birth rate could pose a potential threat. He used that as an excuse to kill their newborn boys. This is why you're seeing the gun violence in our community. This is why you see there's gangster rap in the black community, but nowhere else. You don't see the Chinese gangster rap. You don't see the white gangster rap. It's all targeted towards us because they fear something from our children. Okay? In the Quran, chapter 40, sort of movement or the believer, verses 25 to 26. So when he brought to them the truth from us, they said, we talk about Musa, slay the sons of those who believe with them and keep their women alive. And the struggle of the unbelievers will only come to a state of perdition. And Pharaoh said, let me alone that I may slay Musa or Moses and let him call upon his Lord. Surely I fear that he will change your religion, or that he will make mischief to appear in the land. Their fear is that our Islam or righteousness will stop their system. So they want to take out all the threats to their system. Okay? They fear that something from our people will disrupt the system. Now, the Imam sent me a video where the brother did a book. It was called Beyond Bilal. All right, and he was talking about the black presence of the prophets, right? This is an original depiction of Jesus or Isa from the caves in Rome from 400 AD in the Roman catacombs. Because remember, the Christians had to seek shelter in caves and in secrecy practice their religion. So they would make drawings on these cave walls. But this was an early depiction that they did of Jesus. The Christian catacombs are extremely important for the art history of early Christian art, as they contain the great majority of examples from before about 400 AD in fresco and sculpture. So now the way they drew him was what? He was black. Right? Yeah. So why do we get the white image of Jesus? If these are some of the oldest depictions they have of him, why do we have white Jesus? Because it's about control. It's about inferiority. It's about destroying a people's self-esteem. Exactly. This is another picture. In the middle, you see the person's supposed to be Jesus or Isa, and then you see his disciples around him. That's like, oh, brother, you see on the street. All right, so they were black. But they don't want us to know that because that raises our self-esteem. And it goes against what they tell us about Jesus. They tell us he's the son of God. He can't have no black, okay, with what they say he is, even though we know he's a prophet, right? Here's another one. It's hard for y'all to see it, but if you look, these are black people. These are black people. The evidence is out there. Like I said before, Allah left us puzzle pieces. And all we have to do is assemble them and put them together. Why are the ministers, the preachers showing you this stuff? Okay? Why aren't they going out and researching stuff and finding this stuff is right there? That's a better close-up. These are coins. All right? And this was right here on the left was a coin of Christ. This is back in the Roman times. All right? But look, you see it's here. This was a picture that they drew of Moses or Musa. Black. A picture of Samson. Black. A picture of Jonah. Black. And there's even evidence where this brother did research, this brother Riaz Hussein, and he was saying that the prophet had black lineage. Okay? Now, this is what they feared. Now, I'm going to show you this clip of Farrakhan's. All right? But I want you to see his interaction with Mike Wallace.
If I went to Israel, I don't think Israel would be the best place for me to be at this time, considering the view that most Jews have of Louis Farrakhan.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr.
the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted 30 years ago. Black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut. Wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America, or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet. Because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hands. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help them.
I'm not moralizing. I'm asking you a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes. You've done a hell of a thing on this earth, so you should not be the one to talk. You should be quiet when it comes to moral condemnation. In my judgment. I didn't mean to be so fired up.
That's good. That's good.
That's my passion.
This is what they fear. They fear a person that can be articulate, that knows science, that knows history. Because right now they're dumbing down the public. They just want you to be basic functioning citizens. That's why the standardized tests mainly test reading and math. Because they just want basic functioning citizens. But it's like math and reading, but at the expense of what? Science and social studies. Okay? We got about 5 minutes left. But now I want to show you this clip.
Who was that man that stood up to me?
Yeah. And I want you to hear this. This was from the movie, I think it was Bugs Life. Okay? But I want you to hear the conversation in this. Very interesting conversation.
Just one ant. You're right. It's just one ant. Yeah, boss. They're puny. Puny? Say, let's pretend this brain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt? No. Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay?
Interesting clip, right? But it speaks volumes. You let one stand up, and then it can cause a big problem for us. Okay? So this stuff, I'm telling you, is by design. They fear something coming from our people because you see how the messengers looked. Okay? You see how the messengers looked. That's why so much attack on our community. That's why they're trying to defile our children with this music, trying to defile them with the drugs, the alcohol, the gun violence. Okay? All right, so we're at 2:58. We can wrap it up here, unless y'all got a little bit more in y'all. About 5 minutes. Y'all got another 5 minutes? Yeah, good.
That's right.
But this is from a movie called
Trick Day. Liberals who have lifted them up.
But listen to the conversation.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
Oh, no, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
Powerful. But this is 1974. That's why it's good to look back at some of these old movies, because they were telling you stuff in these movies. Okay? Now, I'll put this picture up here. Politics. They got you sitting on the couch, you in the middle, and behind your back, they holding hands. Democrats and Republicans behind the scenes. Because they're two sides of one coin. There's no difference between them. Whoever you vote for, you're going to vote for this system. No matter who. It's like wrestling back in the day. Okay? It's fake. It's all fake. It's smoke and mirrors. They are all together. They're working together. Okay? I'm going to show you an example. You ever seen what one of their bills look like? When they talk about, oh yeah, we just passed this omnibus bill. Oh yeah. That's what one of their bills look like. It says, well, here it is, all 2,232 budget-busting pages. The House already started votes on it. The Senate is expected to soon. No one has read it. Congress is broken. This is an old bill. But 2,232 pages. Who's reading that? No one. And they're passing these bills, and you don't know what's in there. You don't know what's in those bills. They have all sorts of stuff hidden in those bills. So it's hard. But I want to show you this. I want you to hear what Malcolm, and Malcolm was ahead of his time. He was a very powerful speaker, very, very intelligent, and that's why they killed him. All right? But listen to what he says about liberals.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely
immigration, civil rights issue are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leaders, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress.
So he was able to see what was going on back then. All right, and we'll kind of leave here. But the reason for the gun violence in the black community is that this system fears something from our youth that would disrupt this system. All right, and that's why we have all of this stuff going on. All right, so we'll stop here. I know y'all looking kind of tired now, but we'll close with Surah Al-Ikhlas. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Say, He is Allah, the one, the only, the eternal, the absolute. Neither does He beget nor is He begotten, and there is none like unto Him. Amen.
Amen.
All right, thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate y'all,
Thank you
each and
for
every one of you.
presenting.
And so, inshallah, I talked to Brother Shabazz, and maybe we could do some other sessions after Ramadan.
Oh, yes. Okay, let me know.
All right.
That was a good long
Yeah, I know. I saw people's faces. They getting tired.